Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, 6 p.m. school board meeting to order. We will have the presentation of arms by the Matanzas ROTC Group, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Landon Smith, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Fionn Daly, Cadet Second Lieutenant Anna Hartz, and Cadet Second Lieutenant Joseph Sherman. When they conclude, we will have the national anthem sung by Matanzas High School's Mariana Sanchez. FPC, excuse me. Mixed it up on me.
Color, hold, left, face, present, arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, through liberty and justice for all. Ms. Sanchez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. We're going to go through roll call now.
Christy Chong, present.
Will Furry, present.
Sally Hunt, that was awesome, present.
Colleen Conklin, present.
Cheryl Massero.
LaShaka Moore.
All right, we're going on to proclamations, resolutions, and legislative updates. We've got quite a few proclamations this evening, and that's so good to see. We're back to our normal selves again, so that's nice. Our first one is Dads Take Your Child to School Day, and I'd ask Mr. Wheeler to come forward to read that proclamation.
Good evening, Chair Massero, Superintendent Moore, Board. Just to let you guys know, 2015 was the first time this was celebrated in the state of Florida. Flagler County, we picked it up in 2016. It started very small. It has now expanded almost all of our schools now. It's been a great program. So I just want to read this in. This resolution of the Flagler County School Board recognizing September 27, 2023 as Dads Take Your Child to School Day in Flagler County. Whereas it is essential to ensure that Florida's children have a strong foundation and a good education, and whereas family engagement in education prepares our students to be lifelong learners and meaningful contributors to society, and whereas more than 30 years of research support the belief that a positive relationship endures between increased family engagement and student academic success, and whereas the involvement of fathers and father figures in our children's education brings many benefits, including improved test results and academic performance, better attitudes towards school, and a decreased likelihood of behavioral concerns. And whereas there are many ways that fathers and father figures can engage in the education of their children, including assisting with homework, regularly attending parent-teacher conferences, having an open dialogue with teachers concerning academic progress, participating in school activities, and arranging work schedules to bring their children to or from school. And whereas the Flagler Schools has witnessed the power of a father or father figure within programs such as the African American Mentoring Program, in which students re-engage in school and graduate, with many going on to higher education or into the workforce. And whereas all Flagler School campuses are encouraged to invite fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, foster fathers, and other significant male role models to participate in the achievement and development of their children. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Flagler County School Board that we designate Wednesday, September 27, 2023, as Fathers Take Your Child to School Day in Flagler County Schools, adopted by the members of the Flagler County School Board, Flagler County, Florida, at the regular open public meeting thereof, held on the 15th day of August 2023, signed Cheryl Massaro, Chair, School Board of Flagler County, and LaShaka Moore, Interim Superintendent, Flagler Schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next proclamation, I'd like to invite Ms. Fulmer from the auditorium, the Fitz, I should say, Gerald. And I'm also going to ask that the members of the Governance Board please join her, because there's quite a few you here this evening.
We
and
also
you
have
take
some arts
time.
advocates, and we have Dr. Rodney Harshbarger from Old Kings Elementary and
Dr.
Esther Jackson
Harshbarger.
from FPC.
Wow.
Good evening, Board Chair and Superintendent Moore. I'm so happy to be here. I get up every morning. It's my intent to create a classroom, the ultimate classroom for the arts in Flagler Auditorium. So every day is Arts Education Day for us, but I'm going to start with this resolution. I am honored and blessed to read it with you today. Whereas arts education, comprising a rich array of disciplines including dance, media arts, music, theater, visual arts, and more, is a well-rounded subject and an essential element of a complete and well-rounded education for all students. And whereas arts education enables students to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, imagination and creativity, discipline and collaboration, alternative ways to communicate and express feelings and ideas, and cross-cultural understanding, which supports academic success across the curriculum. And whereas arts education contributes to increased attendance and graduation rates and prepares students for college, career, and citizenship readiness. And whereas arts education contributes to personal growth outside of the classroom, including increasing a student's likelihood to participate in civic life, volunteerism, altruism, and community engagement. And whereas to succeed in today's economy, students must masterfully develop traits that business leaders demand in a 21st century workforce. And whereas the School Board of Flagler County is charged with the education and development of well-rounded students. So therefore, be it resolved by the Flagler County School Board that we do hereby recognize September 10th through 16th, 2023 as Arts and Education Week in Flagler Schools, and call upon staff and families to observe the week with appropriate activities. Adopted by the members of the Flagler County School Board, Flagler County, Florida, at the regular open public meeting thereof, held on the 15th day of August, 2023. Thank you.
Just to make note that, yes, it's August, and we are now trying to produce early ahead of the actual activity. So it's coming, and hopefully a lot of you can plan some special activities around this event. So that's wonderful.
We planned all of our ticket sales to go on sale during Arts and Education Week, so every person that buys a ticket at the Flagler Auditorium can be reminded that we are there for the education of our students and that we are the classroom for the arts.
Very nice.
Could you introduce the people that you have with you?
Absolutely. Sarah Eula, she's a board member at Flagler Auditorium. Sandra Shepetowski is our president and board member. Linda Cole, we all love Linda Cole.
Yes, we do.
Is a board member for Flagler Auditorium Governing Board. And we also have today Danielle Anderson, who's on the Florida cultural council and also takes care of all of our press. And we also have Barbara Holly from Touch Points, who came as an arts advocate because we just asked.
Can we get a picture, please?
Yes.
Come on. Anybody you want included.
Arts teachers,
Danielle, we
please.
can get somebody else to take a picture for you. Go ahead, Ms. Moore.
Great. Thank you all for what you do.
All right, here we go. In one.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, see you. Thank you, thank you. All right, we're going to go to 2.04, Suicide Prevention Month Proclamation. It's going to be read by Marquez Jackson.
Good evening, board members, board chair, and to our interim superintendent, Ms. Moore. Thank you for having me here this evening. I'm actually standing in for Ms. Brandy Williams, our amazing coordinator for counseling services, and she wanted to share some thoughts with you all this evening. I'm here to read the National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month resolution into the record. Suicide is not the easiest topic to speak about, but it is a reality that affects our students, our families, loved ones, and neighbors in Flagler County. If you are someone who battles suicidal thoughts, please reach out and ask for help. There are a number of local organizations and people who are here to help. You are not alone. So again, thank you for allowing us to share and recognizing suicide as a significant healthcare need in our community. Whereas September is designated as National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, as recognized by the National Association of Mental Illness, and whereas many health officials and community leaders, locally, state, and nationally, understand that mental illness is a significant issue of concern, particularly among our youth. And whereas we realize that addressing mental health issues requires more open and honest discussions about mental health. And whereas one major hurdle is removing the stigma attached to mental health treatment and discussion. And whereas parents, teachers, administrators, coaches, mentors, public officials, and peer students recognize the importance of emotional health. And whereas we all can play a valuable role in assisting others who may show symptoms of stress, depression, anxiety, or mental illness. Now therefore be it resolved by the Flagler County School Board that Flagler Schools recognizes the month of September as National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, and be it further resolved that Flagler Schools staff will encourage a positive, safe school environment and encourage helping others while also promoting access to school-based mental health supports and recognizing when young people are at risk for or are experiencing mental health problems. Adopted by the members of the Flagler County School Board, Flagler County, Florida, at the regular open public meeting thereof held on the 15th day of August 2023. Signed, Cheryl Macero, Board Chair of Flagler County, and LaShaka Moore, Interim Superintendent of Flagler Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and our final proclamation this evening is 205 Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and we have with us Melissa Fulling, Living Like Cameron.
Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you for having us. I actually have with me a group of some of our kids, but they're a little too shy. So some of the parents are going to come up and read this with me,
Good.
except
Come
for
on up.
Alan. Alan volunteered.
Alan's a rock star.
Okay, I'll start it off. Whereas each year thousands of children are diagnosed with life-threatening disease of cancer, and
whereas each year thousands of children are diagnosed with the life-threatening disease of cancer, and whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and
whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening, and
whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been adopted by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer, and whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated need for increased funding to carry this out, and
researchers and healthcare professional workers diligently dedicated their expertise.
Whereas approximately 1/2 of childhood cancer families rate the associated financial toxicity due to out-of-pocket expenses as considerable to severe, and whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including the American Childhood Cancer Organization, are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support, and
whereas increased awareness with bolster public support of the disease and thus increase funding for the development of new treatment options and diagnostic tools, and
and whereas every 2 minutes a child diagnosed with cancer and will hear the words, you have cancer, and
whereas the quality of life of these beautiful children will depend on the future treatment and diagnosis developments, and whereas there are 36 children in Flagler County currently affected by childhood cancer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Flagler County School Board, the month of September 2023 is observed as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And be it further resolved that Flagler Schools urges all citizens of Flagler County, interest groups, and affected persons to join us in promoting awareness of childhood cancer and fostering the understanding of the impact of the disease on these small patients and their families and caregivers, as well as take an active role in the fight to end childhood cancer. Adopted by the members of the Flagler County School Board, Flagler County, Florida, at the regular open public meeting therefore held on the 15th day of August 2023.
All right, first of all, I think we all owe your group an unbelievable thank you for what you do for the children and the families of this community. I know, and I know Ms. Conklin, she also knows how far back you go. And this is not just your first year. It's not your first rodeo. So I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the board to thank you for what you do. Would anybody else like to say anything?
I would just associate myself with that. I think the work that you do here in our community is just, it's a godsend to the families that are impacted by all of this. And every time you all come before us, I just think of how brave all of you really are. And it's good to see some of you again.
Thank you.
So many blessings.
Yeah, these kids are our superheroes. And if it's okay to promote, we have a 5K coming
Please.
up, and the theme is superheroes, inspired by our kids. And we just ask that everybody help us go gold for the month of September, which is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I brought flyers if you want to learn more about our run. I'll leave them with you.
And what's the date of the run?
It is the 24th of September.
And if
at
people want to
Town Center.
sign up, how do they do that?
I have a QR code on here they can scan, or we're always on Facebook, and we have a website, livelikecameron.org.
Awesome.
So Even if you can't afford to run or you don't like to run, you can come out and just support our kids. Most of them end up coming and they start the race off, so it's fun.
It's
to just
pretty
cheer them on.
inspirational. And you don't have to run because I have
No.
not run.
And it's town center. You can just take one lap around.
That's right.
take
You
the
can
full
you can
7.
run walk.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, can we get a picture with everybody? And if any of the kids feel brave enough to come up and join you, we'd love to have them.
Can I do a proud mom brag real quick?
Certainly.
So my daughter, who spent her middle school and high school watching her baby brother battle cancer, and her high school years and college grieving his death, just started last week her first year as a teacher at Old Kings. So I'm so proud of her. Yeah, she's very excited. She knows it's going to be challenging, but she's really, really excited.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm proud of her.
That is awesome. Look, I got cold chills. That's pretty good. That's great.
Everybody in there? 1, 2.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pop one of those flyers in the elevator.
Yep, that'd be a good idea. Okay, we're going on to our spotlights. We have the Superintendent Strategic Plan Spotlight. Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will agree that it's so great to see so many of these students that I've watched over the years, and we appreciate them so much and their families. Happy 4th day of school. I'm super excited. We've had a great start to the school year. I celebrate each day. So if you see me and I'm saying happy 15th day of school, because every day is a new day and a new opportunity. And so I look forward to celebrating each and every day. I want to spend the spotlight just saying thank you to the individuals that joined us at the Back to School Jam. We had over 88 booths represented there, all of our schools and departments, but many of our community partners were there, and that was extremely exciting. I want to personally say thank you to our Education Foundation. They had a booth with a long line giving out backpacks, and then I looked over and it was pencils and paper and notebooks. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to you sharing with us and with the community all that was collected with our Stuff the Bus program. So we want to just say thank you to our community that continues to partner with us as we get our students back to school. And thank you to all of our staff members that worked this summer. And I don't want to begin naming names, but I think it's important that the community understands that when school's out, schools do not close. We have many people still in the building working to prepare for the first day of school. So thank you to all of those individuals that allowed for this first day of school to be a smooth one. So thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go to the Flagler County Education Foundation Spotlight. I believe, Ms. Rizzo, you are presenting.
Good evening, School Board, Chair Massaro, and Superintendent Moore. Thank you for allowing me to spotlight the Education Foundation tonight. We are the nonprofit arm of the school district. Many years ago, our local businesses, government entities, and the school district of Flagler County came together to identify workforce needs in this community, which originally led to our flagship programs here in Flagler County. And Flagler Schools became the cornerstone of classroom to careers in the state of Florida. This provided our students with opportunities to prepare and be ready for the workforce after graduating high school. Even more now, after COVID, our businesses and our government entities are asking for students to graduate high school and be workforce ready. Flagler Technical College provides this opportunity not only for our high school students, but also for our adult students in our community. It is well known to break the poverty cycle begins to end with education. And our struggling citizens in Flagler County need workforce-ready skills. The Flagler County Education Foundation Board amended their bylaws this past year to include support not just for kindergarten through 12th grade, but also for all students in Flagler County. And with this amendment, we have the opportunity to partner with Truist Bank and their foundation, and we are able to apply for their Building Career Pathways to Economic Mobility and Education for the amount of $30,000 to help support workforce-ready certifications. This includes certifications in culinary, nursing, phlebotomy, and other identified career opportunities needed right here in Flagler County. So the Flagler County Education Foundation is proud to present Renee Kirkland and Chris McDermott with a check of $30,000 to continue improving the quality of life for our Flagler citizens and elevate their educational opportunities. So thank you to Truist.
You want a picture? I think we should. Yep, we need to get a photograph of that because that's a big check and we want everybody to see that.
It's a big fat check. Thank you. Thanks, Teresa.
Okay, 3.03, Summer Camp Celebration Spotlight, and then we need Amy, Heidi, Kristen, and I'm not sure who else, a bunch of people, ESY, and all the secondary Summer Acceleration Program participants. Ms. Alvarez, would you introduce your team?
Absolutely. Good evening, Chair Massaro, school board members, and Superintendent Moore. I am here with just a small group of folks, and not everyone could be here, but we are here to celebrate and showcase all of the amazing summer programs and summer camps that we had this past summer. We impacted 959 students, and we had 138 staff and teachers provide support for all sorts of programs. So we're going to share a little bit. We've got summer reading camp, summer acceleration for both elementary and secondary, middle school STEM, medical and aviation camp, middle school civics, and extended school year. All camps were provided transportation, breakfast, and lunch. So let's get on with the first one.
All right, first up is Summer Reading Camp. I'm presenting this on behalf of Kristen Frank. We had 134 students in Summer Reading Camp, and after intensive instruction, 105 of those students showed proficiency required to be promoted to 4th grade. And a huge thank you to the 22 teachers and staff that made that possible. They are a huge part of our success. We have pictures on the next slide that show our Star Dome. The students did some reading and then they furthered their reading experience by going into the Star Dome. We also partnered with Kiwanis to make sure that the students had reading materials that they could take home to build their home libraries. And Ms. Frank also got to dress up as Snarg, the iReady dog, to celebrate our students for meeting their learning goals. Next up, we had elementary acceleration. There were 135 students total in elementary acceleration from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. And 100% of students made learning gains in foundational reading and math skills. And a special thank you to the 20 staff members who helped that as well. On the next slide, you will see photos again of the Star Dome and of Snarg. And students also did presentations to practice their reading prosody and rate using poems about weather. Yeah, that's the dog. And they got to present in front of their class with backdrops and props that were their weather poem related.
No.
Okay, so the next one is the first time we offered a middle school STEM camp, and we actually had two separate camps. We had a medical STEM and we had an aviation STEM. So we had 46 students participate in the 10-day medical STEM, and they had a field trip to Advent Hospital. And then we had 42 students participate in aviation STEM with field trips to the airport, as well as a wonderful tour of Embry-Riddle campus. We had 5 teachers each camp. We gave the students opportunities to either participate in the medical camp, and it was rising 6th and 7th graders, the aviation camp, or they could do both. So we had about 22 students that participated in all 25 days of both camps. So here's some pictures. I had about 200. I had to just pick a few, but it really shows that our teachers provided hands-on experiences for students the entire 25 days. For the medical, they focused on a body system or some type of health related topic every single day, and they incorporated medical professions along the way. And we really picked medical and aviation because we wanted to provide a showcase of possible programs for high school. We have our medical program of study, as well as our articulation with Embry-Riddle at both high schools. So it was fabulous. The students loved it. We did pre and post tests for both camps, and we had an average of 8 to 11 percentage point increase for content knowledge for both the medical as well as the aviation STEM. We tricked them into learning because they had fun the entire time. Aviation, they got drone certified. They each got an individual drone. We worked with Blake Neal from Embry-Riddle, who was amazing. He pretty much tailored an entire curriculum for our students, and it was wonderful, and we are excited to do it again this summer.
Next up, we had middle school civics camp. This was 25 full days of instruction, all of the same students. We were a small but mighty group of 12, and those students really enjoyed the opportunities that were presented to them. From their pre-test to their post-test, we saw an increase in 17 points, and this is a huge year for them because it's the first year that they'll take a social studies EOC. This was for rising 7th graders who are coming into civics. So they are prepared ahead of time with that knowledge to help them. We had several field trips. We took a tour of Flagler County. We came here to the Government Services Building. We went to Palm Coast City Hall, and the students also visited the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. They heard from guest speakers such as Mayor Alphen, Superintendent Moore, Chairman Hansen, Chaplain Gilman. They had a really great experience, and one of the important things to me was that they got to come in here and do the same thing at City Hall, and we had them all come up here, kind of like this little one is here with us, so that they could see what it feels like to be in front of the microphone and practice civic participation. They came with questions and they were prepared. Ms. Moore had a great time answering their questions, but getting those kids in here to know what it feels like and make sure that they know that they are welcome here to bring any questions and know how to advocate properly with government officials. So we had a really great time at civics camp, right?
So our secondary schools shared their information with me, so I'm going to share it with you all as far as our secondary acceleration. So the first slide, if you could just move one more. Yep, thank you. The high school, so FPC had 180 students participating, and they recovered 259 courses or credits. And Matanzas had 208 students participate and 354 credits recovered, and over 20 teachers participated and helped facilitate. So we now have 388 students that are on track for graduation. So it was a wonderful experience. The high school students were provided English language learning and exceptional student education support with classes no bigger than 20. So they really had that support that they needed. And it was math, science, English, and social studies. The next slide up is the middle school acceleration. So Buddy Taylor had 64 participants, 132 credits were recovered, and Indian Trails, 30 students participated with 40 courses recovered, and 33 of those 94 were promoted to high school. So,
Yes, last but not least, extended school year. So unlike all of the camps that you've heard about and some of the acceleration opportunities, extended school year is actually a service. This is something that we provide to students who have a need for continued service throughout the course of the summer, or even it could be over a Christmas break, a winter break, or a spring break, depending on the needs of the student. In order to meet criteria for extended school year, students have to have met criteria for one of 5 areas, and their IEP team has to determine that it is something that is necessary for them to continue on their educational progress. One of the reasons a student might meet ESY criteria is that there's significant regression in academics, communication, independent functioning, self-sufficiency, social emotional development, or behavior. Number 2, another reason would be that a student is in a critical stage in the development of a life skill. And when I think about that, that would be like a young person who is just now getting used to using an augmentative or alternative communication device. They're just starting to use it. We don't want them to lose that skill, so that would be an example of critical life skill. The nature and the severity of a student's disability is such that they would not benefit from their schooling if they didn't have that continuous routine. So if a young person has daily physical management, you might have that kind of an individual that would need continued services. And last but not least, extenuating circumstances. So if you've got a young person that has just had something go down in their life that made it such that they missed out on some of the important services and supports needed to be successful, they would meet that criteria. So here's our data from this summer. We did have 77.1% of our students maintained or made progress on their IEP goals. We had 81% of our young people make attendance, at 81%, their attendance rate was 81%. And our young people were supported by 55 staff members that include teachers, speech language therapists, behavior specialists, teachers of the deaf of hard and hearing and visually impaired, nurses, paraprofessionals, and one coordinator, Miss Lauren Green, who would have shared great stories with you tonight. She is unable to be here because her son is playing football. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to see our, bye. It's nice to see our students busy in the summer doing productive work, so thank you for your services. All right, last but not least.
Absolutely.
Is 3.04 Flagler School State Champions, Mr. Willihan.
Absolutely. Good evening, Chair, board members, Superintendent Moore, esteemed guest, and fellow sports enthusiast. It is with immense pride and enthusiasm that we gather here today to honor the remarkable achievements of the 2023 Girls State Champions from Matanzas High School Wrestling Team. This exceptional group of young athletes has demonstrated unparalleled dedication, grit, and skill, showcasing their skill on the wrestling mat and solidifying their place as forever champions. Their triumphs on the wrestling mats have not only brought glory to Matanzas High School, but they have also contributed significantly to the school's overall athletic program. As a direct result of their astounding achievements, Matanzas High School has achieved a remarkable third-place ranking in the Floyd E. Lay Sunshine Cup All-Sports Award for Class 5A. This prestigious accolade is a testament to the collective effort and dedication displayed by the entire school community, with the wrestling team's triumphs playing a pivotal role in the incredible accomplishments. At this time, I would like to invite the entire girls wrestling team with their coaches, athletic director, and Miss Bozeman up front, please.
Yep.
I would also like to ask Coach Freeze, and Miss Butler, and Miss Bozeman to speak if they would wish.
Miss Butler. There is a Miss Butler.
I've known you since I was 13.
You want to talk first?
Thank you, Board, for recognizing these exceptional athletes. I would add to what Mr. Willihan shared that this is the first state team championship in the history of Matanzas High School.
Yes, it is.
Very proud.
Superintendent Moore,
Chair Massaro, board members, thank you guys so much for taking the time to recognize this wonderful accomplishment that these incredible coaches and girls have been able to do. As I've spoke to you guys before, athletics gives us a platform to be able to teach critical skills to our student athletes, skills such as discipline, responsibility, and nothing more important than the will to compete. And obviously that skill these girls have mastered because they've competed at the highest level. They've beaten the competition at every level, not just in the state of Florida, but also nationally. And I know that these coaches are not going to stop with just one state title. They want more state titles, and not just that. I know Coach Freeze is not going to stop at a state title. He wants a national title. And they're going to keep competing, and they're going to keep working, and we are incredibly proud of them. And thank you for honoring them tonight.
I first want to start by saying thank you to the school board, Superintendent Moore, Tommy Wolahan, for bringing us out this late. I know we've had some conflicting stuff. We wrestle all year round. We don't stop. We travel across this country. A few of us were just in Iowa a couple of weeks ago wrestling. But it shows how much you guys value sports and understand that sports make a big difference in these kids' lives. I need to thank Mr. Reeves and Coach White and TJ for coming up with the idea of bringing me to Matanzas High School, and Mr. Reeves for going with it and hiring me. Jordan Butler for all the support, and of course, Ms. Bozeman. Without her, we wouldn't have this right here. Crazy schedules, crazy traveling, crazy coach. And she supported us and these girls 100% of the way. And then the other two coaches, the dream team, TJ Gillen and Jeremiah Moshka, just couldn't do it without these guys. So we appreciate it. We thank you. We'll be back next year, but our goal isn't another state championship. That's just a step in the way. Right now, these girls are ranked 13th in this country, and we will break the top 5 this year.
Great. Wow.
Thank you.
You gotta show the board members your ring. Yep.
Yeah, girls.
Oh my gosh, there's just, wow. Wow. That's bling, big time bling.
All right, when we do our pictures, gang, Sally got ahead of us with her shirt on. She's like, let's at least wear it, hold it up.
I also just have to say, we will paint this county blue. Sorry. Yeah.
You'll also notice Kendall is sporting 2 rings because she was also an individual state champion that we recognized at the previous school board meeting. So, yeah.
At least you got a picture.
Yeah, let's double on the line. Lightweight in the front.
That's it, lightweight's up front.
And then squat down.
That's better.
There's one more person.
Here we go. In 1, 2, 3. Go Parks.
Way to go, girls. Love it. Congratulations. Miss Bozeman, I ride through different states all the time, and I see on 95 signs that say, home of the champions. I think we need one right at your exit. Can you get your staff looking for it, please? Congratulations. You did a great job, ladies. Love to see this. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Love it. Way to go. Coach, thank you for your award. Thank you, sir. All right. Sure.
You're a state champ.
Go ahead, Dad.
Come on, come on.
Chairman, Superintendent, board members, thank you for taking time and recognizing these girls tonight. I just wanted, I think Coach is being a little humble tonight, but this man right here is probably one of the best coaches I've ever seen in my life in any sport, and I've been around youth athletics for a long time. My name is James Borgman, and my daughter Christina Borgman is one of his wrestlers. 2 years ago, my daughter knew nothing about the sport, nothing. And while he was eating lunch one day in the bleachers at Matanzas High School, he saw my daughter running around the track, and he tricked my daughter into trying out for the wrestling team. 2 days into tryouts, I went to pick her up, and she was fully on board, hook, line, and sinker. Fast forward today, from a girl who knew nothing about the sport, he made my daughter to where she's ranked nationally in the United States. And it's not just about her. As you heard earlier, the entire team is ranked number 13 in the country. 2 days after Christmas this year, Coach said, we're going to Missouri to wrestle in the Wonder Woman tournament, the heart of wrestling in the Midwest. And we're like, we're doing what? We've only been doing this for a short time. But whenever he says we're going, we go. After everything was said and done, the team placed fourth amongst teams from all over the country, with several of the girls coming in fourth individually. 2 weeks ago, we went out to Des Moines, Iowa to compete in the Junior Olympics. The first time any team from Florida ever went, or in 25 years went to compete in the Junior Olympics. When it was all said and done, several of the girls earned gold medals, with 2 national champions coming from Matanzas High School. Excellent. So as a parent, we just want to let Coach Gillen, Coach Jay, Coach Freeze, we just want you to know how much we appreciate you. We know what you do is from the heart, and it means a lot to us. You're the best, and
Thank you
wherever
so
you
much.
go, we're going to follow you, Coach.
Thank you so
Great,
much.
that's great.
And I forgot to mention Nina, raise your hand, Nina, and T, Matanzas' first 2 girl or boys, right, TJ? All-Americans? All-Americans. So,
Wow,
yeah.
congratulations, the two of you. Thank you, Coach, thank you, team, and I can't wait for this season. I'm looking forward to it. I will come and watch them go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, congratulations. Yeah. All right, that is impressive. Chance to vacate here. All right, now we'll get down to the business of the meeting, and we'll start with the approval of minutes, item 4. Did anybody have any additions or corrections? All right, seeing none, we'll consider them as approved. Going down to 5, were there any additions or changes to the agenda?
I do not have any.
I have one. We will add 13.03, superintendent search. 13.03, superintendent search, which we discussed earlier. All right, public comment. Before we would do any public comment, this is a new school year, and so I just want to remind everybody, we don't have a lot of public to comment, but for those people that are here and on TV, to understand that public comment is something that we look forward to. The first public comment for this meeting has to be on an agenda item. You cannot speak to any individual school board member except myself as chair. You may direct to the entire board, and we need to keep these events civil. It's very important that it remains that way because that's how we exchange information. You will not get responses from us. That's not us being rude. We just need to listen and hear what's going on. And hopefully, if there's questions that you raise, we have staff around that will work and get answers to your questions. Tonight's second public comment is open to any item, but because of the business we need to conduct, that's why it's set up this way. Okay, so do we have any public comment on agenda items?
Chair Massaro, we do have one public comment. However, it is not on an agenda item. It is Mr. Scullin, and I want to let him know that his public comment will be heard by the board at the end of the meeting.
Okay, that should work. We should not be too long, we'll see. All right, so then we're going on then to resources and supports. It's consent. We're going to go from 7:01 to 13:02. I say that because do not think we're trying to bypass anything, but all of these items have been workshopped previously to this meeting, and we can go right through and approve them all as a group. Are there any questions or concerns about any of these items, Board?
What does this go through? 13?
1302. It's all consent items.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm wanting us to maybe pull 1301. I didn't know that
Okay, we
because
can
I don't
do
know
that.
that, I don't think we're ready to approve.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah,
We can do that and have that conversation. So then we'll go from the beginning then, it would be 701 to 1101. Okay, 701 to 1101. And then we'll have discussion on 13. Fair enough? Okay, so I need a motion then.
Move approval?
Dr. Conklin, a second.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Chong. I have a motion by Dr. Conklin to approve and a second by Ms. Chung. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. All right, we're on to 1301, Superintendent's job description, Ms. Gavin.
Chair Massaro, you have before you the job description, which is in draft form. It contains the recommendations that were made by the board to add, well, actually, it's not showing. It was showing on the afternoon meeting, which we never discussed it, but it has included the CEO provision. It's entitled CEO, Superintendent of Schools, and the only other change is to also recognize that the job code, job description supplement code 6, is for work restrictions and requirements.
All right, so you're saying that the actual title here is still the old title and it has been revised?
It was revised at the afternoon meeting, but we skipped
Right.
over it because we did not discuss it at the afternoon meeting to then carry it over because I was not sure whether we were going to have additional changes other than that, but it was never discussed at the afternoon meeting.
Okay,
So
okay.
I will go ahead right now and make that change addition, and it will be.
So it would read what?
So it reads as the CEO hyphen Superintendent of Schools.
Okay, CEO hyphen Superintendent of Schools. Okay, do we have questions? Yes, we need a motion. So I've got a move approval from Dr. Conklin and a second.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Chong. All right, so we have a motion, so now we can open the floor for questions and concerns. Ms. Hunt, would you like to take the floor?
I was hoping we were going to discuss this today at the workshop, but I'm thrilled with where the conversation led. I just still would love to have a little bit more conversation about this job description. I did meet with Angela. What?
O'Brien.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I did meet with Angela and Bob and just asked. They provided some additional resources to me. For instance, I'm looking at the job description from Broward County that includes some really nice elements in it. So, if my fellow board members are ready to approve this as is, I'm not gonna delay that. I just, I don't know. I feel that as a board, we've really taken enough time to discuss this, but I'm probably the minority in that.
How does everybody else feel?
Think we took enough time, or you don't? I'm sorry.
I don't think that we've taken enough time. If I had my preference, I was really looking forward to a retreat 2.0, and we did a lot of good work already in talking about our vision and priorities and things like community involvement. And I think that there's a lot of good work that could come out of Retreat 2.0 in terms of really finalizing this job description. Because to me, this job description is not just about what we would post out to the world, but it really helps us understand. LaShaka, you spoke earlier to a good partnership, that the superintendent should have a great partnership with the board. And I feel like this job description really aids in that. And so if tonight, this is just kind of what's on paper and this gets approved, but then later we do that activity for a true, like, more working document or working understanding of relationship, then that's fine. There are things in here, like, for instance, from Broward County, minimum qualifications and experience, line item 2, a minimum of 10 years of experience in education with a public school district, et cetera. And then it says, or 10 years of experience as an executive or senior level with a large organization. And I know I've brought this up before. You guys know where I stand, that I think that we as a district would want to consider somebody who has that background, not just somebody from public education. So anyway, Chair Massaro, I just personally don't feel ready to set into stone what is our job description. But again, I'm fine if the rest of the board wants to approve this tonight.
Well, based on our workshop today, there really isn't any pressing need to approve this tonight specifically, right? I mean,
We have time,
we
I
have time.
believe.
I mean, I am comfortable with the way that it is, but if there's more that we can add to improve it, I'm open to that. Just because we're not against an advertising deadline based on our workshop conversation earlier, so we could move that to the next agenda workshop if we.
We could move this to the special meeting? Is that possible?
In the same one, yeah.
Yeah, at the same meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not pressing at this point.
right.
So and I think this process, we need 100% buy-in from all of us. So if the comfort level is to table this item for tonight, and then when we have our special workshop, as we're kind of basically interviewing LaShaka and we're having our Retreat 2.0, there's no reason why we can't talk about the qualifications and what we're looking for in a superintendent, because that'll be beneficial for LaShaka to know as well. And so it's a perfect time for us to update the job description. And then at the following meeting, we can bring that back for approval.
Yeah, and just to let you guys know kind of process, I know Attorney Gavin asked us to kind of redline stuff, which I'll just tell you, the working document, it was really difficult for me to kind of add comments. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it, Dr. Conklin, I think this was a meeting you were not a part of, but it was just, I think the four of us had a really beautiful moment where I brought up, hey, should we scale this back to bachelor's as a requirement? And we had really, I thought, great conversation.
I remember that.
Where I think we all came to realize, like, me in particular, like, oh yes, it needs to be a master's minimum. And I think that's the kind of conversation that I think would be really beneficial. So I appreciate it if we could put this on a future agenda.
I don't have a problem with that, but we have a motion on the floor. Do we need to withdraw that motion?
You can either withdraw the motion or you can vote on it and vote it down. It's your choice. But at this juncture, there's a request to table it, as I understand it, to table it for a time certain. So that takes precedent over the motion. And so if it's tabled, that takes the motion off the floor. So there is a motion to table for a time certain to be brought back at the September 6th, 5:15 meeting.
So the motion table comes from Ms. Hunt, correct? Do we need to second it or just the consensus?
She can just table it.
There was a motion to table with a time certain of bringing it back at the September 5 meeting, or September 6th meeting. I need that to be voted upon. That the motion to table does need to be voted on.
Okay,
It
so
doesn't
we have a
need
motion. we
second,
have-
I just need.
I
a
got
vote.
you. So we do have a motion to table.
Second.
Until the until the 5th meeting, where we can strategically redesign it or whatever and address it and revamp it as necessary and discuss it. Okay, so I have the motion from Ms. Hunt, a second from Dr. Conklin. All those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. We'll get taken care of then. Okay?
Thank you.
And
All right.
Board, just so that you know, if you would have refreshed your screen, and what was showing to the audience was the updated job description showing the CEO and also showing the change. So it has been updated while you all were talking.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so then we're going to go on to 1302, which is Small District Council Consortium. Ms. Gavin presented that earlier today.
Move approval.
Okay, that's Dr. Conklin, a second.
Second?
Okay, Ms. Hunt. Any conversation? Not hearing it, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. All right, 13.03. We had a conversation this afternoon about suspending our superintendent's search. I would need a motion now to proceed in that manner.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the search for Flagler superintendent at this time.
All right, Dr. Conklin, I need a second.
Second.
Ms. Chong. All right, we have a motion then to suspend the superintendent search. Any questions, conversations?
I would like to just take a moment for anybody who's listening who didn't watch the workshop. I don't know, Chair Massaro, would you like to paraphrase what we're talking about here?
Okay, we have an agreement with the Florida School Board Association to assist us in the search for our new superintendent. At today's workshop meeting, the school board discussed the option of perhaps offering that position to Ms. Moore. To get to that point, and we have some work to do before we get there, we need to suspend the search so people know that we may be going in a different direction than just an open search, which would need to be advertised soon. So that is why we are at this position. That makes sense?
Yeah, I will just add, and maybe this is good to clarify for the five of us, because I'll tell you what my understanding of where we are right now. Where we are is we are suspending the search of advertising this is an open position, and we are expediting interim superintendent Moore's process of interviewing with the five of us, with us discussing. So I see this as kind of an expediting the process for Superintendent Moore versus like getting our ducks in a row to make the offer. So I just want to clarify that my understanding is that Superintendent Moore is going to be going through the process of consideration.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, I don't necessarily see this as an expediting of that process, but I see it more as because we had consensus at the workshop, that if ultimately the board was in alignment to offer that position, why wait until and go through all that process if that was what it was going to be? And what we put in place here is that there is going to be an interview process, and we're going to review the resume. We're going to individually meet with interim superintendent and qualify her for the position before we go to our next meeting in September. And so it's not like we're just trying to fast track something, but if it's something that might turn out to be inevitable anyways, we could, save a lot of time and resources by doing it this way. So.
All right, we good? So then we have a motion by Dr. Conklin and a second by Ms. Chong to suspend, our search process. Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. All right, we're going on now to 17, which is 1701, the 5-year capital plan. Mr. Bush.
Good evening, Chair Massaro, Board, and Superintendent Moore. I present to you our tentative 23-24 District 5-year capital plan that I previously brought to you on August 1st. This plan will also be used for our 5-year work plan for DOE that will be due October 1st. Are there any questions?
Okay, I need a motion. We can discuss this if there is.
Move approval?
Dr. Conklin, a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Furry. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the 5-year capital plan. Are there any questions or concerns or discussions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Human Resources, 1801. Mr. Willett, requests board approval of the stop-loss renewal proposal.
Chairman Moore, directed to the market analysis done by Brown & Brown. As far as we took the stop loss out of the bid, based on the recommendation from Brown & Brown at this discussion. Oh, sorry guys.
We kind of heard you.
Wasn't on. Yes, sorry about that. We looked at the Florida Blue option 1 as a plan in lieu of our previous provider, and that was due to basically a side-by-side. If you look at slide number 2. Oh, sorry. I thought magically you could just reach over. That was the list of providers that we took it out to bid, and our previous Sun Life, the side-by-side with the comparables as far as at the level of 225,000, they were both of equal comparable, and Florida Blue was actually a cost savings, and that was the discussion we had at the board workshop. Attached, aside from this presentation, we also have the stop-loss contract and the application form. There are no changes between the contract and option 1 as far as what their billables are and their expectations and what was in the presentation. So our recommendation in line with Brown & Brown is that we go with the stop-loss provider for this coming year of Florida Blue, beginning in September.
Okay. All right, before we have any conversation, I need a motion.
Move approval.
Okay, Ms. Chong, second.
Second.
Mr. Ferry. All right. Conversation. Anybody have anything they'd like to share at this time? Yeah, that's good to get there. It's saving us money in the long run. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. All right, thank you, Mr. Ouellette. Old business, we're down to old business. Do we have any old business to discuss this evening? I see and hear none. New business. I think we probably took care of those at our first meeting.
I've got just something real quick. This is kind of about what Bob was just talking about. I want to just share with my fellow board members an experience that I had. You all know that I injured my ankle, and I reached out to the phone number on the back of my insurance card. I do have insurance through the schools. Bob, what is again the third party we use? Yes, thank you, sir. So I was directed to Quantum. In fact, I didn't even really have the option of contacting anybody from Florida Blue. And Quantum gave me a list of physical therapists in my network. And when I went to call them, all of those providers were out of business. And so I went online to try to look at providers through Florida Blue to go direct, because Quantum now provided me with incorrect information. And I couldn't go directly to Florida Blue. It redirected me to Quantum. So I will tell you, even to this date, I still really don't even know who's in network, and I really don't know ultimately what I'm paying for physical therapy. But I wanted just to share that personal experience, because I think we as employees of Flagler Schools pay a little bit of a premium to be associated with Quantum, to have that service. And so, Bob, I just wanted to ask, again, whenever something happens to me, because I'm a school board member, it's like, what are the chances that it's only happened to me? And so if another Flagler Schools employee has a similar situation, who is best to reach out to? And that's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question, who's monitoring? To be honest, I was really disappointed that something as simple as finding out physical therapists in my network was an outdated list. And if that's the product that they're selling, to me, it's a faulty product. So I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but that's healthcare. That's a kind of a big important deal to me for our employees.
I can speak to some of it. When I first came on board to this position last year, one of the things that we did, part of the insurance committee, is we did put out some surveys. And Quantum and the usage of Quantum and the satisfaction of Quantum were questions we asked in the survey. And it was a mixed bag. It was pretty close to 60-40. And the responses were either wholly positive, like I had a great call with Quantum, or they were wholly negative, where, similar to your story. We shared this information with Quantum. We worked with Brown & Brown and the folks at Quantum to work on improved service. We take, to answer your next question, any concerns that come through us, we provide to Quantum and Brown & Brown on a weekly basis, as far as overall status. And then as far as the urgency of something that happens to an individual, our benefits folks will reach out and call right there with folks still on the line. We are in our last year of our 3-year contract with Quantum, and it's a good year to reevaluate. I know that promises have been made, and like I said, the survey results were mixed. Some people have had really good experiences, some people have not. And when they don't, we press forward with Quantum to try and make it right. And we will continue to do so. So if there are any issues for any folks out there, as far as our employees, reach out to HR, give me a call, or reach out to our benefits number.
Yeah, I'm very glad Ms. Hunt shared that information, because that's always been something in the back of my mind since we got involved with Quantum. I wanted to know the usage, and now if it's valuable, because we give them a fair chunk of money to help our insurers. And when you hear stories as simple as this go south, they should be at 100%, not 80, not 60-40, okay? Now, since you found them out at 60-40, I certainly hope they have a better percentage this year, or my consideration is not going to be in their favor. So I would press with them now that they better clean up their act. That's a simple request. They should know who in this area is a PT. And if they don't, and they give her all bad information, my God, we have a lot of clients that could be using that, and they're not getting the same information. What are we paying for? So that really makes me angry, because we need that service to be 100%. And if they can't get it to 100% or close to it, okay, some people will never be happy, I get that. But if they get it close to it, okay. 60? No, that's not cutting it. So that's my personal feelings.
I appreciate you sharing. Honestly, my biggest concern is the fact that I couldn't reach out to to Florida Blue directly. It's a situation where you have to go to Quantum, and I say this a lot, but I'm contrary to some people's opinion, I am a competent female, a competent person, and so for me, to keep striking out and finding this information, I think that was the biggest concern is I'm fine to make another call, but where do I go when Quantum has bad information? And this is an ankle injury. It concerns me if someone is dealing with something life-threatening and they're needing information quickly and they don't have the time, nor are they a board member to be able to reach out to you or to Angela, right? And get get a response pretty fast. So Chair Massaro, thank you for adding to it.
We need to keep an eye on that as a board and see if this is the third year of the contract, it's going to be in front of us. It's expensive. It's not a small contract. And we need to keep, I've been on them right from the start, and I've always been questionable, and this does not make me feel happy. So we'll see. Let's see where they go.
And it is a mixed bag because I've had to use them, and while I don't want to share personal information, I was glad to have a third party. But yeah, we could do better. It shouldn't be
Right.
60-40. So.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that one, and
And-
keep
and
your
in year
thumb on the
three-
pulse on that one, too.
Yeah, in year 3, we'll bring forward, I mean, obviously, as we move forward into this year, the insurance committee will survey once again and, bring forward the kind of the state of where our folks are as their thoughts and how their interactions have gone this past year across the board so that we can make informed decisions.
Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot, Bob. I appreciate it.
That's fine.
Thank you.
And then, Chair Massaro, this is something really small, but we are at the start of the school year, and I just wanted to throw out there that I would really enjoy, whether it's in one of our retreats or whatever, I assume we're going to be getting 2 new student members joining us, and I would love as a board for us to talk about how we can better hear from them, include them in these conversations. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, not necessarily to discuss tonight, but that I'm excited to have 2 new students join us. And
Student liaisons are you talking about?
ma'am.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with Ms. Moore to speak to both principals, because last year we ran into a problem with they were wonderful young women, don't misunderstand me. But one of them wasn't on campus almost every day. They were on another campus. They were.
Interesting.
Yes, and that's problematic for when you're trying to get them to get information. Yeah, and so I said, and we've had the conversation to please make an effort when you select your student liaisons that they are students that are not only engaging, but are on campus. Because, I had to work closely with them with the virtual teen town halls and the summit. So loved them both. They did an okay job. I've had better. And I think that the students I've had in the past have always been on campus and engaged. So I did a little research, and that's what I found out. So hopefully, if that's along the lines of what you're thinking, Ms. Moore will talk to her people, and they'll get good representatives.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to make sure this school year, I'd love to make sure we're including them, not just at the end, but in conversation as
Yep.
well. So thank you, Chair.
And their value in the past has been exceptional. I mean, during the hard times when the 3 of you weren't here, my gosh, I don't think we would have survived. I mean, they came out on many hot button topics and gave a student's view. And it was like, wow. And we haven't had that yet, but they were really very, very good. So there's a couple things we're looking at.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Any other new business? All right, hearing none, we're going on to public comment. I know we have public comment. 2?
You have Mr. Scollin. Again, he is speaking regarding something that's not on the agenda.
Okay.
No worries.
Hello, my name is Daniel Scollin, and every time I come to these meetings, I am impressed by the things that you guys cover and address and are able to accomplish. But there always seems to be one thing missing from your meetings, and I'm going to try to tie them into 2 subjects we talked about today. One is suicide prevention, and its a broader scope of mental illness and also childhood cancer. It's an inconvenient truth, a very unpopular thing to broach, but I wanted to talk to you guys about electromagnetic field exposure of these children in school today. Everybody knows that technology is super important and necessary in this world, but I believe that it's not really measured very accurately, and sometimes some aspects of technology are not are ignored. So I didn't really prepare anything, but I just wanted to read a few things from some articles. One was from the Western Journal of Medicine out of PubMed, Exposure to Electromagnetic Fields and Suicide Among Electric Utility Workers. I actually was an electric utility worker at one time. The potential for association between extremely low frequency electromagnetic fields and suicide is biologically plausible. Wilson, one of the authors of the study, had postulated a link between exposure to electromagnetic fields and depression based on observations that these exposures, after the daily rhythm of pineal melatonin production and excretion in rats, a pathway involving the effect of EMFs on the production of melatonin, the role of melatonin in depression, and depression as an important risk factor for suicidal behavior. Although data concerning the effects of the exposure of the EMFs human pineal gland function are limited, inhibition of melatonin production has been reported. We conducted a case study control considering the risk of suicide for electric workers. I'm going to kind of skip because I seem to be running out of time. That went quick. But just a few article topics from EM Radiation Research Trust. Scientists sue FCC for ignoring cell phone radiation risks. Former ICNIRP members advocates that wireless must get a more stringent cancer risk class. Fifth court in Italy ruled cell phones cause cancer and determined it's an occupational disease. And I could have went on about how money and power dominate the research. And I think we can all agree on that even though that there's, I don't believe in scientific consensus, but even though people would argue that there is a scientific consensus that this stuff is inconclusive, we can all pretty much imagine how industry-funded research muddies the scientific waters. The telecommunication lobby is the most well-funded lobby, well beyond pharmaceutical lobby.
All right, I'm going to have to stop you, but I thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I would like to put that on the agenda for the future.
I'm not sure we would be able to do that, but we'll see, because I think we've had conversations in the past about cell towers. That's one of the issues.
Cell towers on school grounds.
Property, yes.
And we make $36,000. I used to also work for the cell phone companies. We make $36,000 from these contracts. We're selling out the possibility, World Health Organization, Class 2B carcinogen. We're selling out the possibility of health effects. We're already saturated in the schools, fluorescent lights, Wi-Fi everywhere, for $36,000 a year.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, another one? Come on.
Good evening. My name is Mike Feldbauer. I'm here tonight representing the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. Madam Chairman, Superintendent, members of the school board. I'm here to, and if I had known your new policy, I would have tried to get in here earlier, but August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. And the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation is hosting a walk over the bridge starting at Wadsworth Park, ending in Veterans Park and Flagler Beach, to acknowledge this. We'll be acknowledging people that have lost family members to the drug issues today. We're looking to help reduce the stigma of those people working to try to get off drugs and back into our community in a healthy way. So I'm here tonight for primary reason is to invite this board, and hopefully many members will be able to attend that evening and join us there. It is August 31st. It's a Thursday. We will be assembling at Wadsworth Park at 5:30 in the evening. We project to be at Veterans Park for those who don't want to walk over the bridge and just want to meet us there, about 6:15 to 6:30 for a short meeting there at that point. We will have many community members that have lost those loved ones to that, and others that have been working in the world of recovery. So we will be there. And before I leave, I will give each one of you a information sheet on it, but I would be neglectful if I didn't say thank you to this board. Our team delivered 120 boxes of Narcan to the school system this last week.
Good.
Each one of those doses has an expiration date of either 2025 or 26, so we're in good shape to get going, and we will hopefully never have to replace any other than an expired Narcan, but in case that will be there, and we'll continue to support the system, as we mentioned, for at least 2 years, if not more. So we'll go forward with that. We've been in contact with the health department, who's going to do your training, and offered if they need any assistance, since our team was a team that trained the health department in that. So I want to thank you for taking the lead, not just for here, but for the entire state. Because though we were the second district, the first district didn't do what you did. It just came down from Tallahassee and said, do it. You folks put in the effort developing a policy. Took a long time. You looked into it very seriously to figure out how it was going to be done. And I'm sure that as we get into it, there'll be changes and improvements of how you spread it throughout the schools. But you made the effort, and I thank you for that. And that's all I've got for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your work, too. Yep. All right. Closing comments. Are there any more public comments? Closing comments. Start down there. Ms. John.
All right. Happy first few days of school. I know it's been a very great week getting school back going. And I just want to say thank you to all teachers and staff. I know it's not easy and it's a lot, and we've had a chance to witness some of it. I really enjoyed just being able to stop by a little bit and see how everything's going. So thank you so much. And the energy and the atmosphere, it's just been great. So I'm excited for this year. And parents, also thank you for being patient as buses and everything get organized. I know it's going to be a great year. So thanks.
Yes, I'd like to also say that on the first day of school, we went to every school, and being a first-term school board member, that was quite an experience to be able to go and meet all the staff, the leaders, the teachers, the students. Is really just heartwarming, and when you see that enthusiasm, and even in the kids, that they're happy that school's starting. I mean, that's a big deal. So, and just the way things went, they were running smoothly. You know, there's always going to be hiccups when on your first day, but I'd say overall they did a bang up job there. And I have to say that I think on my Facebook, of all the pictures I took that day, Principal Bozeman's sequenced boots got the most attention. It was really neat. And just a big shout out to Lady Pirates and their accomplishments there with the championship. I wrestled when I was in high school, and I know that is a team sport, but there's nothing like when you're on that 1-on-1 and the ref slams that mat and holds your hand up. That is an amazing feeling. So I can only imagine the joy they feel there. So, and just again, to thank all the staff from the district and everywhere that also went out and took the time to be present on the first day to greet our building leaders and staff and students. So thank you.
Thanks, Will. I'd also like to say congratulations again to the Lady Pirates. It's incredible. I just want to bring forward something from the workshop that Mrs. Chong brought up. I think it's really worth sharing here as well. There is a large school district here with buses and food and classroom stuff, and so Christy brought up, people putting comments on Facebook and whatnot, and I would just encourage parents, especially, to encourage one another to use the Let's Talk app. If you see someone making a comment online, please encourage them to go to Let's Talk on the Flagler School's website. It sounds like Superintendent Moore mentioned that we are completely on top of it. We've addressed all concerns, I think, up to date, which is incredible with everything the district has going on. But that is, for the sake of the community, for the sake of the school district, I'll just say, I brought up tonight that I had an issue with the insurance company with my ankle. It takes us talking about the things. If there's something that's happening at your child's school, if you are an educator and there's something that's happening, please let's make sure communication stays open this school year. Communication is just really powerful, and we do have this really great Let's Talk tool to use. So that's all I wanted to share tonight. I appreciate everybody and hope everybody has a great 23-24 school year.
Not much more to add to everything that's been said, but I guess I'll focus on the kickoff that we had with all of our faculty and our staff and from every department. It was an honor to serve some breakfast. That's always the highlight of the year. But it was really great in the auditorium to see so many departments and so many folks come together. You had some difficult news to deliver and some information to make sure that everybody was aware of, and regardless of how anybody feels about that information, it needed to be shared. And you did it in a way that created some accountability while bringing some fun to the table. And the energy in that room, you could feel it. And there was an excitement in the air, and I haven't seen that or felt that in a long time. So I want to thank you and your team for the plan you put together for that launch and that kickoff. I have heard from a number of teachers, from folks in various departments, and all of them said that the energy just felt really right. It was just good. And love the theme Flagler Forward, because that's what it's all about. And so I just want to thank you for your leadership and your team and everybody else. And I know that we've got some folks very upset about transportation. We've had some changes in staff and people moving around, and just like my colleagues, a little patience and grace. We're working on it, and it's, I think we need to understand, it's scary for parents. When you're at the bus stop and you're waiting for your little one to get off the bus, it's scary. The bottom line is it's scary. And so I think we have to acknowledge that and then say, we're gonna do better. And I know you're addressing those issues, and I appreciate that. But looking forward to getting our students on board, our student liaisons, and looking forward to a great year. It's gonna be a weird one for me, because everything's gonna be the last time. So I'm really I'm excited about it, but it's gonna be a great year. Yes, that's it.
I too want to piggyback with what everybody just said. This is exciting. It really is. It's 23-24. We're moving forward thanks to Ms. Moore and the staff, both support staff and our educators. I think the families have gotten more information this year than they've had in many years. The communication level seems to be the highest that it's been for some time. I had the least amount of emails for the opening than I've had in previous years. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Certainly there's going to be issues, but they're getting fixed quickly. And I have to compliment Ms. Moore and her team for getting those things done. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank this board. We got thrown together here in November, and we have 3 individuals who had minimal experience, but they're learning every day. Trust me. Those that went on that first day experience learned an awful lot, because we've been there before. And going at 6:15 or 6 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, hitting all those schools and seeing all those teachers and seeing the kids and getting them part of all of the hubbub of the first day of school, it's exciting. It's exhilarating. But it teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot of what this district is capable of. And I know that we are all heading in the right direction. We've had some problems in the past, but I feel more comfortable and confident in this board than I ever have. And that's a good thing, because we're going to keep moving forward as a team together, and we'll get it right. And if we make a mistake, we'll fix it and move forward again, because we are all human. But I'd like to thank them for their effort, because I know they're trying really hard. As for the community, they've said it, bear with us. Put your patient panties on, please, because you need them at some point. It is frightening when your little one's not where they're supposed to be. We're trying to remedy that very quickly, because we understand. We have very similar situations. So know that we're going to make this the best school year ever, and we're going to keep going one day at a time, just one step at a time, and it's going to get better and better every day. So I'd like to thank all of you. Ms. Moore.
Again, happy fourth day of school. It has been a great start to the year, and our kickoff professional learning was a great experience. I want to say thank you to the auditorium team that helped to bring that to life, from the individuals that ensured we had AC, to the sound techs, to the individuals who made sure every chair was fixed and working properly, because we needed every seat in that room. But it was a team effort, and so I thank the team of individuals that worked with me in order to bring that day to life. I'm sure they don't think I'm as crazy now when I say, we're gonna hula hoop, and they're like, what? I'm like, listen, you can't get but so much information in at one time. You have to take a break. And so we had a great time. I want to take a moment to acknowledge another new principal that we have, Ms. Donnell Evanson, who's no stranger to these board meetings. She is the new principal of Bunnell Elementary School, and I am confident in the great things that she's going to do. I've had the privilege of working with Ms. Evanson for a number of years, and her heart is for our students, and I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see the great things that you're going to do. I want to say to our families, when it comes to transportation, we are doing our best to mitigate all of the issues related to transportation. What I ask of our families is that they be respectful to our drivers and to our aides as we work through those issues. Please take your frustrations out on myself or Mr. Freeman back in the back. But please, please, please be respectful to our staff, as they want these issues to be fixed as well. And we're working every day to ensure that it's a smoother process than the day before. They are, when you think about taking about 7,000 students and ensuring that each of them get home safely, you would be amazed to hear as the radio calls are coming in asking for specific students, and our ability to pin down to, this is the bus that they were on, here's the stop that they got off of, this is the time that they got off. And so we know we need to get better, and we will get better. I do ask parents to please don't make any assumptions. Ask the question. If it's something that you're concerned about, you don't know, please ask the question. Don't make an assumption. Don't make an assumption that we know the issue that you're facing. Please, you can submit your questions through Let's Talk, as Ms. Hunt has said. You can also email myself directly, morel@flaglerschools.com, and we'll be sure to get you connected to the right individuals. We ask our families to continue to check their emails and our website for important information as we continue to move forward with that. Our theme for this year is Flagler Forward, and it's all about excellence in service. And so I did ask Mr. Brian Hudson, we appreciate you too back there making sure that this meeting runs smoothly. I did ask for the quote to be put up, because when we talk about excellence and Flagler Forward, I want it to be very clear of what it is that we mean when we say Flagler Forward. We want to work collaboratively with our parents, with our teachers, our educators, our faculty, our staff, with this community to move this county, move this school district forward. And so the quote that we are going by is, excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities. That is what Flagler Forward means to us, and I look forward to working with our stakeholders as we move Flagler forward. Thank you.